Hey, what's your OnlyFans? Goddamn, I don't care if you got a man. I'm over here and I'm looking for your OnlyFans. After I seen it, pass it on so that my homies can. Pass it.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, so welcome to a new episode, another quarantine episode of Take It to the Table. As always, I'm joined by none other than Big Man Ridez.
Yo, what's going on? Ridez is here. Another episode.
And of course, none other than Mr Rymz. Welcome back.
Yeah, yo, folks. Just the fact that he was so kind of like, I don't know if you like lagging or something, because he was just like, oh wait, and then he went, and it was
like a news reporter, ain't it? When you see him just smile.
Oh, me?
Yeah. You like
yes, and there was a complete murder scene here. Let's see it.
So yeah, that's just cool. But yo,
what's
up, people? I'm here too. Mr. Rymz in the house.
We'll see how bad it is along the way. Hopefully you'll catch up, Yusuf. It's all good. But yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Of course, as you all know, guys, they were still in lockdown here in the glorious UK, even though it's hot as hell out there. I wish I could enjoy a nice little barbecue or have a little party outside. But you know, what matters is we're keeping safe, and yeah, just hopefully this will subside as soon as possible, and so we can go back to a certain sense of normality in the world. And you guys out watching, staying safe as well. Make sure you wash your ass and wash your hands. And also the first thing as well, obviously, of course. But of course, yeah. Let's move on to the topics at hand today. We are going to be talking about Money in the Bank. As of this recording, it's about 24 hours away. So we're all going to be pitching in our predictions. Of who's going to win, what match we're going to be looking forward to, all that kind of fun stuff. We're also going to be talking about the WWE 2K franchise and what the future holds for it, and also what we would like to see in the next 2K game, not 2K Playgrounds, forget that game, or Battlegrounds, whatever it was called, but the next 2K game. And of course, we're going to wrap it up with our favorite game, Wrestler 20 Questions. As we all know that Big Man Ridez has the power of this episode. So yes, we will delve into that. But until then, let us take it to the table. All right. So, like I said, as of this recording, Money in the Bank is less than 24 hours away. Or just about over 24 hours away. It's a very unique pay-per-view, I must say. It's everyone is going to be climbing the corporate ladder, so to speak, and as we know, it's going to be held at WWE HQ in Stamford, Connecticut. Sorry, is it Stamford, Connecticut, or is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Stamford.
Yeah,
okay.
Stamford.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, this is a very unique premise. Something I didn't, to be honest, as big as WWE are, I didn't think they were going to come out with something so outlandish as this. So, I think that's one big positive out of this whole global situation, that they are being quite imaginative and creative. This is a nice little steady pace, I must say, in terms of creativeness. We had the Firefly Funhouse, we had the Boneyard match. And now we've had this. I got a feeling that we all know that if this situation never happened, we would not get this out of WWE. No way. I think.
True.
Well, the Boneyard match would never happen. It would have been a boring match in the arena, same as how the Firefly Funhouse would be. It would be completely just not the same. So, hats off to them. They're making the most out of this bad situation. But what are your feelings about this pay-per-view, guys? Are you looking forward to it?
I think for me, this is. I hate to say it, but I feel like this is the worst Money in the Bank lineup.
Wow. Okay.
That they've had, only because I feel like there are like Money in the Bank, like the Royal Rumble, is a pay-per-view that kind of makes a star. Or it's like the kind of premise that, like, so the way Money in the Bank has always been, like, even when you look back at the first Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, it's like that was always filled with, like, the next people that could potentially be pushed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like Edge
So
and all that kind of people. Yeah, I totally
yeah,
get that,
so the Money in the Bank has always been like full of potentials or full of people that kind of you can see kind of going far or like kind of gonna kind of be something. And then this year, I understand, given the circumstances and who's able to work and who's not, and who's willing to work and who's not. But then that aside, it's just like you look at the 6 women, you look at the 6 guys, and you're just kind of like, you know, like, do I really kind of like want to sit there and watch 2 individual matches or just one full match as it's going to be of these 12 people kind of thing? It's like, for the women's one, for me, the only draw is Asuka. And then even then, it's like, I feel like they're going to put Baszler over her. Yeah. And then with the men's one, they literally took Apollo Crews out for AJ Styles and whatnot. And then it's like, even when you still look at the lineup, it's like, so what, Daniel Bryan, Baron Corbin, and AJ Styles are the 3 mains in there? Yeah. Are the 3 like main eventers, or I guess you could say 4 there, and then all the rest of them, what is it, Otis? Is Aleister Black in there?
Yeah.
Otis, Aleister Black, and who's the 6th?
Mysterio.
Who?
Mysterio.
Oh, okay then. So, okay, I feel like Mysterio is the type of pitch to win Money in the Bank. Maybe he's just in there for the star power, I guess.
So I think most people are just excited just because of the premise, and this is a unique first time ever match more than the people that are in it. So I think that because I'm genuinely excited just because I never in a million years, I think this is something that you would see in like a WWE game. It's not happening in the ring. It's happening in. There's going to be a ring. The ring is going to be at the top of the roof, but everything else is like a big playground. The actual headquarters is not something that is just made overnight. This is happening at the actual headquarters, so it's very unique. So it's I think that's what people are genuinely interested in. It just the fact that we're getting it in such a special location.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not saying that the concept is bad. I'm just saying more of like who's involved. You'd say that like I definitely feel like I understand. Like I said, who can work and who's comfortable to work and stuff. But it's like you still look at the stars and you're a bit like, But then in the same breath, if you're going to talk about the actual match, originally I thought, okay, then it was going to be the 2 separate matches. Then they said they're going to combine both matches, so it's all 12 people are like battling to the top of the towers to climb the ladder to bring down the briefcase, right? Mm-hmm. So I can't actually think of any spots or anything in that's going to kind of make sense. Does that make sense? If you get where I'm coming from? So, okay, see it as this. It's a 12-person cluster. Let's just throw that out there. That's what it's going to be, a 12-person cluster. And then now you've got it so that the men are competing with the women and vice versa. However, although as much as that screams intergender wrestling and all that sort of stuff, it genuinely makes no sense for a man to hit a woman or for a woman to hit a man. Because they're both separate. Yeah, they're all fighting for a different goal. Yeah. So to see like Asuka Green miss the guy, or to see like, I don't know, Rey Mysterio plancha onto like a bunch of women or whatever, it wouldn't make no sense. It wouldn't add anything to either thing, because it's like if the men are fighting for the men's one, if like let's say a man and a woman are on the ladder, it's like they can both essentially grab their briefcases and not have to interact with each other. So it's like, okay. But
I got a feeling that one match is gonna finish, and then the next one's gonna be just shortly after. Like they're gonna start at the same time, but I mean, I think the men's segment is gonna finish first. Then it goes transitions to the women's instead of them actually. It's the only way for them to make sure that they don't awkwardly avoid each other. That's why.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just seemed kind of like straight away. I'm seeing like all of the wrestling Twitter and stuff, and they're like, oh, they're gonna see like intergender wrestling's coming back, it's making a thing, and I'm like, but no, it makes no sense. Like for a man to hit a woman in this match, or for a woman to hit a man, it's like, other than just the attraction of intergender wrestling, for them to actually do it, it makes no sense, because there's 2 different goals. There's 2 separate goals.
I don't think that would be the case. I think like I got a feeling, if anything, the men's will probably start in the reception, and then the women will start in the canteen, and then they fucking just build to go up their separate ways. There's no way. I don't think they will be in the same arena. Otherwise, yeah, like they're just gonna be awkwardly avoiding each other when in situations where you expect something to happen, and then if they do collide with each other, then Twitter's gonna fucking say cancel WWE and all this shit. It's just not worth it. So I think they will just be in their own separate entity. You might see some humor in between them, maybe, but yeah, I think one will finish and then the next one will just finish afterwards. Even though they're starting at the same time, I think. So yeah, you should be smart. That's what I think. But what about you, Yusuf? Should I say right? What's your feelings towards the pay-per-view as a whole? Are you looking forward to it?
As a whole, I mean, WWE pay-per-view, I don't really go into negatively. I mean, we're WWE fans, so it will still be interesting to watch. Admittedly, obviously, it's a bit, I would say it's limited compared to normal pay-per-views for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think there's only 6 matches on the card. And to be honest, in all the catching up that I've been doing recently, there's only really maybe 2 or 3 matches that are being kind of thrown at us. I haven't really been seeing match card advertisements or anything like that. It's just, hey, this is the pay-per-view. As opposed to before, where I don't think there's any real pay-per-view feuds, so to speak, going into this match. Maybe outside of the main championship matches, right? But that's fine. In terms of the actual ladder matches, Ryan's mentioned about how in the past there's been ladder matches where it's essentially to push stars, like here are the stars that could be the next big thing, so to speak. And I kind of think it's been a mixed bag over the years. There's been some where it's exactly that. Obvious examples, people like Edge, CM Punk, so forth. But then there's been others where it's essentially a bunch of randoms and people who are perhaps mid to bottom card actually making it into the match, and then after the match is done, still going back to the mid bottom, like it had no effect on their push or their career. But then we've also had some where it's like main event star power. Like think about the ladder matches, the Money in the Bank ladder matches that have had people like Orton, Big Show, Cena, and all of them in the match. Like you've had like almost like a cluster of main events. So I think over the years it's definitely been, you can get anything. I don't think either takes away the excitement for me. Either way, it's still interesting to watch. And going into this one specifically, I think everybody is a believable winner apart from Otis. I think everybody could potentially, if they win, you see something for them. For example, AJ, although his return was a bit lackluster, he's AJ Styles. Do you know what I mean? It's redemption, coming back from the whole Undertaker thing. With King Corbin, the fact that he's one of the top heels, it just goes with the fact that he won King of the Ring. It would be perfect. With Daniel Bryan, again, similar to AJ, he's Daniel Bryan. He can sell it. Aleister Black would be what Rhymes was alluding to before, where you've got the next
potential
superstar, so to speak. Yeah. Rey Mysterio, although probably majority of the general consensus will probably be they don't see it happening, or it's not really believable. I think he's still, especially since he's come back, he's a new Rey Mysterio. You know what I mean? Just to kind of, because he's a little bit flounder. He's starting to flounder. This could help. I think that's everyone aside.
Except for Otis.
Have I missed anyone else outside of Otis?
Daniel Bryan.
No, he means
Daniel Bryan.
Bryan.
Oh, sorry.
Daniel Bryan, Corbin, AJ Styles, Aleister Black. There's someone else.
Yeah, you said Rey Mysterio.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, those 6. Yeah, Daniel Bryan, Mysterio, Black, Corbin, Otis, just Styles. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone else.
The reason why I don't see Otis is just because he's in a tag team. It's not even that he's not a good individual, but unless he breaks away from heavy machinery, why would he win the briefcase and still, unless they're going to go the Edge and Christian route where like when Edge won King of the Ring, but I don't think heavy machinery is that big of a team for anybody to care about them splitting at this stage.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So, but he'll be there for good comic relief, climbing the ladder and the things break and stuff, that will be there. And, there'll be some good spots. But everybody else in a men's ladder match, it's a free-for-all. It's a good shout. Admittedly, I'm not even too sure who's in the women's one. You're going to have to remind me. I know Carmella's in it.
Carmella, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka.
See that? And so for me, because I'm the women's, because I go for the women's wrestling, I'm saying all of them 6 in there. My draw is Asuka, and then even then it's like.
Okay, so I mean, Asuka's a draw. Although in terms of how WWE are pushing us, it's not the same way that they were pushing us years
They're
ago.
pushing her.
So
She is doing the most right now. She is the
yeah,
hardest
over the
working
last
right
couple weeks. Over the last couple weeks, but if we consider the last couple of years compared to when she first debuted to the main roster, it's definitely a downgrade. She's been put into the tag team division. She hasn't, do you know what I mean? Apart from that little feud that she had with Becky, which was really just for Becky to move on to Shayna. Like, it wasn't, do you know what I mean? So, kind of taken down her, I don't know, not quality, but just stock, so to speak, right? So, again, just not my perception, just in terms of how they're pushing her. She is just one of the other women in the match, so to speak, in the sense, the same way, who else is in there? Lacey Evans, who is, again, just kind of there on SmackDown, and everybody else. It will still be good. All of them are still talented and worthy of being in a match, I believe. But again, with that one, it's more one of those random Money in the Bank matches. You don't actually know who's in it, and there are other women who you would expect to be in a match that aren't in. Like, is Sasha Banks in there? She's not.
No.
Okay, so that's typically someone. I get it. She's probably busy with Tamina and Bailey, but that's someone that you'd want to see in a match. There's a whole bunch of other women, but it'll be interesting. With the whole concept and the idea of it, I agree with Rob. I don't think it's going to be a thing where they're hitting each other. I think you're going to have different camera shots. You might even get split screen at one point. You're going to have people in the same match who might want, like, 4 of the contenders might be on the first floor, some might still be on the staircase or on the ground floor. You will get those collisions for comic effect, like you might have Oscar spraying Otis or something like that, but there'll be no purpose to it, like Ryan said. It will just be like she might try to spray someone, a woman ducks out the way and she hits Otis. Do you know what I mean? There'll be stuff like that, but no one's going to purposely attack anybody. But I think because of how random it is and how different it is, how we don't really know, we're here discussing it ourselves, that in itself is the attraction. We're all going to be on it. Like, it's going to be, even if it absolutely flops, everyone's going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to work. Yeah, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. The championship matches, I won't really talk too much anymore because I've kind of rambled, but I'm looking forward to Braun and Ray. I think the feud is intriguing. It's actually got me quite interested. I've got opinions on that, but I'll talk about that when we talk about the predictions. And that's it, really. Everything else is just kind of like, I'll watch it, but meh.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth and McIntyre is happening, but I like when they did. Do you remember there was the year when I think was Roman the champion, and then Seth Rollins returned, and then straight away the next pay-per-view, I think it was Money in the Bank actually, that it was Seth versus Roman Reigns for the title, like straight away kind of thing, rather than kind of letting them kind of build that up, even though it's like how can I put it? It's one of those feuds that has years behind it or months behind it, but then it took a breather and then it came back, and now you're getting the match straight away. With this Seth and McIntyre one, I just feel like this to me is a big draw match. So like, kind of like how with Seth Rollins, I think they tried to do it last year, but it kind of fell flat so he won the Universal title, and then they dragged out his feud with Baron Corbin to eventually basically put Brock Lesnar back on top. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then to then build to SummerSlam for them to have like their penultimate match or whatever. So I just feel like when WrestleMania ended, maybe they could have given McIntyre, like, I don't know, someone in between, maybe, or like 2 or 3 people in between to get to Seth Rollins, and then that match could have had a bigger payout or bigger payoff, because that's like the 2 biggest stars on Raw, more or less, and already they're having their big match. So then it's almost like, well, once this match happens, where do you go from here? I don't know if I'm coming, if what I'm saying is making sense, but yeah.
No, it is. Essentially, what you're saying is that is the big money match that could have taken
SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania next year. Like, you know, that's Seth and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's built it up. Seth Rollins is the big star anyway, so it's like, well, rather than give us this match straight away, like, that could have been the SummerSlam match. That could have been a match further down the line, or, you know, that could have been something that could have been like, they could have built that in the sense of, so they're just the 2 stuck, kind of like when they had that thing where Seth and AJ just never, even though at one point they were always split from each other, And then even when they were put on the same show, it was like Seth and AJ just never kind of had any interactions with each other or anything like that until they did. And then it's like a big payout. You know what I mean? Big payoff. I think did they have a pay-per-view match like that?
Well,
So
here's the thing. I think that's a bad example because I think their first actual interaction was a throwaway match on Raw. I remember that. Like, it was just like for the first time ever, AJ and Seth on Raw. So like they didn't really, do you know what I mean? Like they kept them apart for so. But I get what your point is, though. You're right, because in doing that, you kind of make their feud more important, and in the process, you build Drew, you retain Seth's heel heat, so to speak, and then it's just you're more invested into it, right? Whereas now it's like Drew just beat Lesnar, and now we're getting Drew and Seth. So I get your point.
straight away, like he's getting all the big people at him straight away. It's like, okay, so if I'm assuming, I would say I want McIntyre to retain at Money in the Bank, but then it's like if he doesn't and they give it to Seth or Seth wins, how are you gonna phrase that? Then it's like, okay, so what's next? Do you know what I mean?
Well, if Seth wins, Drew, I mean, if whenever the title changes hand, the feud continues between those two people, isn't it?
Not necessarily, because the rematches aren't a thing. So
yeah, but they don't complete, like,
so it's like, you know.
No, I think, but like, I mean, they're still feuding. I mean, they're not just gonna, okay, you know, I'm done. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I get it, yeah, because they did it. Like I said, they dragged out the Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin's story last year for like 3 pay-per-views, I think that was, or something like that. So you never know. They could probably drag this one onto
how invested they are, because you're right. If they can easily invest into it, but obviously if they're not interested in. Look, Kofi is still waiting for his rematch. You know, it all depends on how much they are invested in they can easily do that or do a rematch. They've done it numerous times before. The amount of times, even though they said no one gets a rematch clause, but the amount of times that someone loses, like especially in the tag teams, someone loses the championship and then the next night on Raw they immediately have a rematch. They did it especially with the Raw tag teams recently.
Raw tag teams.
It all depends on how much they're invested into it. They can easily, just go for that loophole. Was you gonna say something?
Personally, I just think who else would Drew, if not Seth, who else would it really have been? Who would have been a credible opponent that would have been believable? But do you know what I mean? Like, who else is there on the active roster now that's not injured or not sick or whatever? Like on Raw. Do you know what I mean? Because you got people like Andrade and whatever, but it would be very random if it was him because he's the US champion and stuff. Like, who else is there really? Unless you turn somebody or try to make a new star.
Yeah. But it looks of things.
Yeah, there actually is no one on Raw, is there?
They have.
I mean, there's talks. Rob will probably hate this, but there's serious talks about Jinder getting a push.
Do you know what? I am so here for that. I am so
listen. Me and Rob had a conversation recently about Jinder's first title run, and we just dissected it. This whole thing that I'm seeing is coincidence. It's nothing to do with me. I'm seeing dirt sheets and Twitter talk about a genuine push for the guy. And to be honest, if they do it right, this is a chance for them to do what they tried a few years ago the right way.
Yeah.
Like Jinder and Drew could be big money if done.
Oh yeah,
correctly.
There's history right there. Exactly. There's history. There's they've left, come back, look better than ever. Yeah, they could easily do if it's done right, like you said.
Yeah. So if anything, him and Seth, even though yes, technically Ryan's right, they are the big stars. Let's say Drew and Seth feud for a bit. Drew goes over Seth, which helps Drew's stock, and then has the big money feud with Jinder. Because during that time, Jinder stacks up wins, right? Yeah. That could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still think in order to put Jinder Mahal on Drew McIntyre's level, he would have to have at least two, like, when you have that mid-card main event on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But of a big feud, he would need like 2 wins or 2 of those kind of feuds under his belt before he's on McIntyre's level at least. So, like I'm saying, going into like Money in the Bank right now, and then what's the next pay-per-view after this going to be? What, SummerSlam straight away? Because we're in May now, aren't we? Yeah, so the next one will be like SummerSlam or maybe
Battlegrounds.
I mean,
so it's like
rules supposed to be up. Anyway.
Yeah,
right. So whatever the next one is, if they're gonna like max out that card that they did WrestleMania, then if Jinder Mahal can have a credible mid card feud on there, and then potentially have a mid card feud going into SummerSlam, then maybe for the back end of the year, Jinder or they could like long it out. Then you never know. Jinder might be a Rumble winner this year. Like it depends.
Ooh.
Because,
Okay.
That's a long time though, man. You don't want to make it too long because how long is Drew really holding the title for?
Yeah.
I could see him holding it for the entire year because, like, in all honesty, like Drew McIntyre is not like a. With no disrespect, he's not like a Kofi Kingston character, like a small guy.
Yeah.
Like Drew McIntyre has
no, but outside of Lesnar and Cena, who held titles that long, really?
CM Punk.
Like, yeah,
he's the only other one, and
McIntyre,
McIntyre is bigger than him. So therefore, I think they go by the realism thing right now. So therefore, McIntyre being the big guy that he is, I could see him holding that title for a lengthy run, like a very lengthy run. Like, I could see him. Well, right now, unfortunately, his run just happens to be in this unfortunate time. But they could probably like Becky Lynch the hell out of him and like make him hold it all the way to next year.
Especially since he's like the first ever British champion, or is this British? Is that the one they're pitching? British or Scottish, whichever one. So because it's a first,
right?
They like to stretch that thing out. So yeah, I can also see him. I got a feeling it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't lose the title. If it's not Jinder, then he probably won't lose it again till Lesnar comes back.
Yeah, which I'm gonna assume, given how Lesnar is, it probably won't be until until Rumble or some big TV that Lesnar will be back.
It wouldn't surprise me if even McIntyre keeps it till Mania, and then that's when they have their rematch, and then Lesnar fucking wins. Because even though you guys say like WWE don't own Lesnar or anything, but he's lost 2 WrestleManias so far, and in a row. He's gonna win that in one of them. he has to win in the race. All right, sorry, a little bit of technical difficulties there, but yeah, let's just swiftly move on there. So yeah, there's actually 8 matches happening in this on the pay-per-view with 1 pre-show match. So I'll just
wait, 8 matches on the whole card. I thought it was only 6.
Yeah, no, it's 8. So the first one is in the pre-show. It is Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. So what are your predictions for that, Mr. Rhymes?
Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. That's weird. Didn't Jeff Hardy just have like a whole skit on SmackDown with Sheamus?
Yeah, you know they're longing it out. They're probably going to...
Okay, well, I guess because it's a Jeff Hardy return match, then I guess Jeff Hardy. But then Cesaro, because Cesaro, like AJ Styles, like Charlotte, whatever, he brings good matches out of people, so it helps Jeff Hardy elevate. So I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy for that one.
All right, Big Man Rides.
Yeah, Jeff, man, for the exact same reasons. It's a pointless match, but Cesaro is not gonna go over returning Jeff Hardy. Makes no sense. So exactly. It's a shame it's on the pre-show as well, but.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I agree. Definitely Jeff Hardy is his first match back, even though he just came back and defeated, Corbin a couple weeks back. But then they're saying that he's back again after these vignettes that they've been showing, the rise and fall and the rise again and all this shit. So yeah, 110% Jeff Hardy. Then the next match, which I assume it will be the opening match, R-Truth versus MVP. Totally fucking pointless. I don't get the significance of this.
Yeah, it's just out of nowhere. And also, I find, so for me, I remember seeing, I think MVP actually posted this himself. So after the Royal Rumble and then after his match on Raw with Rey Mysterio, he posted this long thing saying that that was his last match on Raw and whatnot. So, and all of that. But yeah, I see him keep popping up every now and again kind of thing. And then he was doing is it the VIP lounge or something when Drew McIntyre hit him with a Claymore or something like that. And then it's like he's been popping up on Raw here and there for the last few weeks, and then all of a sudden he has a match at Money in the Bank, and it's like,
I think this was just
okay.
This was not planned in the long term. I think he actually genuinely thought he was done after he did that Instagram post, and then they just obviously gave him a producer role at the back, which then evolved into giving him the VIP lounge again, which evolved him to do another match to them now and again. So, but that's all better to him. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I always liked MVP even in his first run. Just this match is just so freaking random. Something has to give in this match. I just don't understand it. I do have a feeling because I don't know if you've been reading the reports, but regarding MVP, he's looking to actually start his own stable now. With possibly is because he's been vouching for this tag team, this random tag team on Raw. Is it Shane Thorne and some other guy?
Oh my god, yes! I was so annoyed with that.
Yeah,
like
it's a random start, and there's also rumblings about Apollo Crews, and apparently there's talk about him turning heel and joining this stable. So it wouldn't surprise me if that stable that tag team comes and helps MVP win, and then after this knee injury goes up, subsides with Apollo Crews, there's a chance for it to turn him heel because it's scheduled for a decent push. So
right,
yeah.
Which is gonna sound so weird to be like, so okay, the Apollo Crews fan in me is like, well, it's about freaking time. But in the same breath, I'm like, they just literally had my boy Ricochet take the fall on Raw to this random tag team that someone like myself, which I do watch wrestling, and I know who Shane Thorne is just as a name because he's on 2K19 or whatever. But then I've never really kind of seen his work or seen what they're doing with them. So you're saying that apparently this has been like an ongoing thing. So MVP's trying to recruit them or something like that, right?
I believe so. There's talks about the new stable.
So that's been a long-standing thing. I was unaware, but then either way, to kind of watch Raw this past week and see both Cedric and Ricochet essentially take to fall to this random tag team, which the thing is, they didn't even get an entrance. That's how bad it was. Like Shane Thorne and this guy were already in the ring and they won. So I was just like, I watched that and I was like, wait, so Ricochet just lost? And I was like, at this point, I'm done. But then in the same breath, I was like, I've got nothing else better to do, so I'm just gonna watch the rest of Raw. But it was just like, but anyway, like, if they're gonna make like a faction and stuff like that and whatnot, and Apollo Crews is gonna be like the centerpiece, then I'm fine with that, I guess.
110%. What about you, Big Man Ridez? What are your thoughts on that match? On this, like, first of this singles match and what the possible plans are?
I think with the match, I think R-Truth is going to win the match. And the reason why I say that, your guys' idea about there being a stable potentially and they kind of helping MVP, I think if that is even going to happen, that's not going to be on a pre-show. That's got to be like on a Raw or something like where people actually see it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that match, because right now it's just one match on the pre-show, which was the Jeff Hardy Cesaro. This is a party scheduled for the main card.
Okay.
I said it was going to be.
That changes things because then if there is potentially allies that can help MVP, that would happen on actual paper. I'm still not 100% sure because this alliance, or I don't know what you've seen, Rob, if there's been Twitter talks or MVP selling it off TV, but in terms of to be honest, in terms of TV, nothing has happened. Because I was aware of the Shane Thorne and the other guy alliance with MVP only because of, those YouTube exclusive videos after the show where one of the interviewers will talk about what happened on a SmackDown or a Raw after the show has happened, right? That was where I saw the alliance. Kayla was interviewing Shane Thorne and the other guy, and MVP interrupted and took over the interview. But if you're just going by what's on TV, you don't see that. So there's the last we saw in terms of TV was MVP hosts the MVP lounge with Aaron. Yeah, I can see you now. So you saw MVP host the VIP lounge with Asuka, Shayna Baszler, and Nia, and you saw those Shane Thorne and his partner win against Ricochet and Cedric the Entertainer. That's Cedric the Entertainer. So those are the last two things, right? So yeah, I don't know what they're going for it. They're not completely random. They're former NXT superstars, and Ricochet and Cedric beat them the week before, so there's a little feud going. There has to be a rubber match. So I don't know. In terms of going back to the match, R-Truth and MVP, I don't care for it, if I'm honest with you. Like, I think R-Truth wins or loses, I don't think it makes a difference. Outside of the potential of a stable, it doesn't mean that. If there's no stable interference, R-Truth is winning. If this is a moment for the stable, then obviously MVP, but it might just be a DQ. I can't believe I spent that much time talking about R-Truth and MVP.
Right, like I was gonna say
That
something,
is
but
the match.
No, I totally agree. I think that MVP is going to win due to it's either going to be interference, or it will be R-Truth winning due to a disqualification. That's what I think.
so basically, you just think not a clean finish.
I don't think it's going to be a clean finish.
Fine, MVP has not won a match since returning. I don't think he's won a match.
No, he was in the Royal Rumble for the star power, and then on Raw he put over Mysterio. So
Yeah,
but every match since Raw, because he's had a few good matches on Raw since.
Yeah.
He's had matches other than Rey Mysterio. Lost them all.
He even had a match with McIntyre before the Rumble, and he
Apollo Crews.
Yes.
You guys.
Yeah. You're right. But this one, I think they will just give it to him. Say again?
Yeah. He's just been jobbing, really.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been jobbing, yeah.
Why a win outside of a stable would be completely random.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I would say MVP for that one. Next match, this is in no particular order, basically. So it's the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and it's the New Day, the Miz and John Morrison. Hey, ho, fucking cringe. The Forgotten Sons, and the Lucha House Party.
Right.
And the New Day are the champions right now, right?
Stupidly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
see.
even think it was a fatal 4-way.
Say again?
I thought it was a triple threat. I forgot about the Lucha House Party. I forgot
God.
this match.
Wait, so when you say
Listen,
fatal 4-way,
I'm
is
just
it elimination
very
or
sure.
1-4
to finish?
I think it's 1-4 to a finish. Yeah, it doesn't say elimination.
Oh, okay.
So very short. I think New Day are retaining. It's a 99% for me. New Day. There's that 1% chance that they might swerve everyone and give it to the Forgotten Sons just because they want to push them as stars.
Yeah.
Very impactful debut.
Yeah.
But Lucha House Party ain't winning nothing. And I don't see Miz and Morrison winning either. They're not going to give it to them because then their loss would make no sense. You know, why would they lose just a couple weeks ago and then win it back? So I think New Day coming out on top.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Rhymes?
I mean, I get where Yusuf's coming from. However, the John Morrison fan in me is like, I feel like they could probably do the Miz and Morrison swerve, only because it's the whole thing of, they're trying to bulk up the New Day's wins and losses with those titles. Like, they're trying to make them be more than the Dundee Boys, right? Something like that.
They already done the demolition.
Is it the Dundee Boys next or whatever?
With the most wins.
Yeah, so they're trying to I think they're trying to make the New Day these so they've been tag team champions so many times. You know what? It's then the thing that I haven't really seen any of the promos for the tag team and stuff like that lately, but I do know that the whole skit for Miz and Morrison was that they win when it counted. So it counts now. So although I can see the New Day retaining, however, the John Morrison fan in me wants the Miz and Morrison to win. So I will predict Miz and Morrison, but yeah.
I actually predict it will be the Miz and Morrison getting it back together. I think because for some reason, in a way, they just in WWE's mind, I think they're just gonna try and say they're not that great, or they're just lucky when they defend it singularly, but as a tag team, they can win anything. So it was dumb taking it off them in the first place, because it just made the Miz look weak. But then again, I guess in a way, the Miz is also kind of untouchable because of how long he's been there and all the history. So it didn't really hurt the Miz when he lost it. But I think it wouldn't surprise me if the Miz and John Morrison is just doing this hot potato thing with them. And like you said, maybe another way to bulk up the New Day's win record with the titles. So the Forgotten Sons, they probably won't take the pin. I think it will probably be Lucha House Party because they're the most expendable. Or
if Miz and Morrison are gonna win, then the New Day can take the fall. But and the fact that Kofi Kingston hasn't taken the falls in these tag team matches, it's win a game.
Yeah.
So it's win or lose now. It can't even be like, oh, if the New Day take the fall, it will be Big E that gets pinned because Kofi Kingston's been taking these pins. So I'm just like, at this point now, it's any man's game. So if Miz and Morrison win, they could pin anyone. It probably won't be the Forgotten Sons, like you're saying, though. Yeah. I do think it's too early for them to win. Although, their debut was strong, I'll give them that. But to give them the title already, I don't think they're Bludgeon Brothers worthy. So, and even Bludgeon Brothers didn't win it straight away. Like, they debuted like a good, I don't know, what was it, like 4 or 5 months before WrestleMania, and then they won the titles at Mania. So,
yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, cool. The next match is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think it's going to be a swerve. Like I said, when it comes to when it's like the first ever and all this stuff, when they do with WWE, they like to tend to bung it out. And there's no reason to take it off Drew McIntyre right now. I think it's been a worthy champion. Put some great matches. Even his last match that he had with Murphy this past Monday, great match. The way Murphy took that Claymore was beautiful.
Right.
It should be an entertaining match. Again, I wish this was in front of a crowd, but it is what it is.
I'm gonna just put this out there. I honestly think, like, when you look at the Money in the Bank thing and whatnot, okay, actually, no. We'll get when we get to that match. I'll say it then.
Okay, cool. What was you gonna say, Big Man?
There's a bit more. Of why this match is kind of probably a bit forced as well, because Seth came out on a losing end at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
That's not to say that Kevin would have been the one competing against Drew. I know he's injured, but remember, he's the face. You're not gonna have a face challenge Drew. But like I said, it's just that lack of heels, man. I mean, they weren't gonna put AJ and Drew together straight away because AJ just went out in varial fashion with The Undertaker, so he has to sell that. And again, who else is there? Like, really, on that level of a Seth or an AJ, the only thing that they potentially could have done is, instead of have Big Show do that thing after Mania, have that be his first opponent at Money in the Bank or whatever. Yeah. But then,
no one really cares.
How exciting would that?
You're right. Yeah. No one would really care about that. But I think their way to get, even though like you said, Seth obviously lost at Mania. What I did notice, but the fact was that Seth didn't challenge Drew. It was the other way around.
Yeah. True.
So that's why that was their way to get around it. So, but yeah, we'll see. But there's also proof that there's a lack of stars, and it's not to do with the talent that they have. It's just them choosing not to push this because they got a whole shitload of talent that could be top level people. You know what I'm saying? But they just can't be bothered to put in the time, and then when they do, they strap a rocket on them and then they shoot them up, and it doesn't make it more believable. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, it's that's the ongoing argument with them, but yeah, I digress. Next match is Bayley versus Nobody Meaning to almost messed it up. Nobody Meaning to Tamina. Nobody is meaning to Tamina. Yeah.
Nobody Meaning to Tamina. That's what you say, man. Say it with your chest.
Oh God, you guys really did not rate her, huh?
No, I'm a big Tamina fan. Don't get twisted. That's what it says on her shirt.
Nobody's meaner than Tamina.
She even made a reference to it. If you go on her Instagram, she's like she plays as a psychiatrist, and then she said like she's meant to be the nicest person. She says like nobody's nicer than Tamina. I'm just like okay, whatever. But anyway, yeah, them two are clashing for the SmackDown Women's Championship. What are your thoughts, Big Man Ridez?
Listen, Tamina 100%. If you're just talking about longevity and being underrated, I'll give it. Yeah, she deserves it. She 100% deserves this win. I don't think she's going to get it. I don't think they're going to give it to her. Because, to be honest, listen, if they really want to make Bayley this credible champion, she needs this win, right? Her championship run it's not been bad, but it's not been Becky Lynch either. Do you know what I mean? She's kind of been lost in the shuffle as the champion. Right. She needs it. It gives her credibility. It can't really hurt Tamina because Tamina's already hurt. Like in the most respectful way. But so it does favors for Bailey, and plus everybody wants to see the obvious. Everyone wants to see Bailey and Sasha and see what happens. They've kind of teased it. It might eventually happen. To be honest, at this point, I would be happy with them just being friends and teaming indefinitely, because as heels, they're a good unit. They work.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic of Bailey being champion, and because Sasha, fair enough, is almost Bailey's manager, so to speak, but she doesn't come across as a side chick. Even though she's not the champion, they're seen as equals. Yeah. So let that play out as long as it needs to play out. I think if Tamina wins the championship, it just kind of, what does that do for Bailey? Unless Sasha causes Bailey to lose, and then that builds a feud between them. But I just think it's too soon. I think just let Bailey win, and there's still a whole bunch of women on the roster that she can go through. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I predict that it would be Bailey for the win. Simply the fact, it wouldn't surprise me if something involves Sasha with them two, and then like the only way Bailey is going to lose the title is by a Money in the Bank cash in, whatever that may be. I think that's the only way she's going to lose it.
Which is what I said as well. I said that if a woman wins, okay, yeah. So I said that if Bailey's going to lose the title, it will be from a cash in. But I'm just going to assume that, given the gimmick of the ladder matches, that will probably be the main event. So therefore, we won't get a cash in on the show.
It won't be on that match. It won't be in the night. 110%. No,
right? Because for the last 2 years running, the women's Money in the Bank was cashed in at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that this will be the year that will be the first time that they'll have the Money in the Bank and someone will actually hold the briefcase for however long.
Yeah, they might as well in this state, in this current situation, because it does annoy me when someone cashes in so early and then it's kind of like forgotten. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no.
You forget that Bailey actually won her title in the Money in the Bank last year. So it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
Actually, no, fair enough, she lost it. She lost to Charlotte to win it back, but But you said what?
I said that's your point exactly. That's not even her current run.
Yeah,
she lost that title.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, but then the thing is that technically she's been in the title picture for a year. So now technically to come full circle, and it's like, like, you kind of, what has she really done in this title run? Except for turn bad or turn heel, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been
underwhelming.
Just a bit
like,
it's been underwhelming, but yeah, I do miss. It's been a while that we've had someone have the briefcase for a certain amount of time, and it has that certain sense of uncertainty of when they're going to cash in. Or there's been times where they have cashed in and they failed, like didn't fully cash in already. They're teasing that they're going to, and they haven't. I mean, who's the last person that done it?
Did you cash in and succeeded, or cash in and failed?
No, cash in and succeeded. We all know who failed, and that killed them. But
the last cash in would have been,
I guess, Carmella. Carmella tried to cash in numerous times, and she didn't until she successfully.
But with her, hers was a story with Mike Chioda, because he was always her referee. So whenever she was going to cash in, he was always the ref, and he was always like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are we going to do this?" And she was like, "Yes." And then like it got to the point where she would always just about to cash in, and then the person gets up or she gets attacked, and then it's like, and then, which is why when she cashed in on Charlotte, the whole thing, he was like, "Should we do it? Are you sure?" And then he longed out the announcement, and it made it so long and whatnot. But that was just like the last successful cash in for the. Who was before Baron Corbin? Who was men's Money in the Bank last year?
You see what I mean? It happens.
Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, he won.
Yeah, Brock. I did a whole video on that. Yeah, of course I remember. Yeah.
Brock won last year. Brock was a successful cash in.
Yeah. But it was like you say, it wasn't. There weren't no teasers. His one was. It was so. Even though
they announced it, didn't they?
Sorry.
Him announced it. He was like, at Extreme Rules, he's cashing in his Money in the Bank.
Yeah, they just kept. Yeah, it wasn't the right sense of teasing. It was. I don't know how to explain it, but I just miss how there was like this potential run-ins or like when the champion does get beat down, you hear the crowd saying like, chanting the person that has the Money in the Bank briefcase, and hopefully you hear the entrance hit and you see them chasing down. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I just missed that. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Weirdly enough, I do think the only cash-ins The only two cash-ins I can think of in my head that are what you just described was Dolph Ziggler and Carmella.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler one was that was memorable.
Del Rio like got injured in the ring, and everyone was like, "Come on, we won Ziggler!" And then his music hit, and then he got that big pop from when he's won and stuff. And then for the Carmella one, when the Iconics were walking out the ramp, everyone was like, cash in, and then her music hit, and then the crowd popped for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think anyone in between that got like the big pop when their music hit and stuff like that, or the thing like we won the cash in.
CM Punk did?
No. I'm saying Punk was before Ziggler.
Oh, you mean afterward? Okay, no, yeah.
Onward.
Like a cash in that people were like cash in, like everyone wanted it to happen, kind of thing. Like we were waiting or anticipated a cash in. Like Dolph Ziggler's one, he held that for a whole year.
Wasn't Daniel in after Ziggler? Daniel
Bryan's one was that wasn't it that thing where they buried Mark Henry or Big Show underneath all the chairs, and then Bryan came out and cashed in.
Yeah, his one was a big one.
Yeah.
Was that one that everyone was that after Ziggler?
Yes, that was 2013. Was it 2013?
But then was that a big one in the sense of I'm saying that like what you just described was like when people are like, oh, we want to cash in, we're ready for it. Because I feel like wouldn't that have been like literally like 2 or 3 pay-per-views after he won it, so he wouldn't have held it for that long.
I mean, if you're talking about longevity in terms of holding it, outside of Ziggler, I don't even think did Carmella even hold it that long?
Yeah, Carmella held it for a whole year.
Yeah, she did.
She cashed it in. They cashed in the same night, so both of them cashed in their Money in the Bank the night after WrestleMania.
Okay.
So Ziggler's was on the Raw after that WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 29.
Yeah,
the one with the women's match was cut or whatever, and then Carmella cashed in the night after WrestleMania 34. Charlotte in the streak.
Yeah. The SmackDown after WrestleMania. Yeah, you're right. I don't think. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan was 2011, by the way, at TLC.
So you say it was before Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we're both saying Bayley, or we're all saying Bayley to retain.
Yeah, Bayley to retain.
Yeah, Bayley to retain, and then when she loses it, she'll lose from a cash-in. Which basically means, which ties into
because it's annoying with Tamina, because I got a feeling if Tamina won, they're going to make her turn into this emotional wreck. And it just ruins the fucking
monster
of Tamina. Like, I'm so happy it's not waiting this long time. WWE, they're gonna milk it. So I'd rather have she just be a mean ass, and then she just affirms everyone that nobody's meaner than Tamina. Simple as without the title.
Yep, I get it.
So the next title match on the card is Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. Not The Fiend. He's going to be facing Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Although I said that I am caught up with wrestling, because this is the first week that I actually watched all 3 shows, but with SmackDown, I admittedly I haven't been following this feud. Purely because Braun Strowman's champion, I just don't care for Braun Strowman. So, like, admittedly, I knew that he was feuding with, the Fiend or Bray Wyatt. I knew something was happening, and I assumed that their match was happening at Money in the Bank. But, like, Ridez alluded to earlier, they haven't been putting a match card together for Money in the Bank. So I didn't even know that they had a title match at Money in the Bank. I just assumed that it was going to be, like, 4 or 5 matches, and the Universal title, like it has done on previous pay-per-views, just probably wasn't going to make an appearance and whatnot. And I would have been fine with that. But then apparently Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman are having a match, so haven't been following it, but because it's Bray Wyatt in Bray Wyatt form. Did he win against The Miz?
Yes, he did. He actually did.
Okay. But then I honestly don't think it makes sense to have Bray Wyatt win the title back. I could see them doing it, but I don't think it would make sense. So I'm gonna predict Bray Wyatt.
Wow. Okay. So you just, even though it doesn't make sense, you predict Bray Wyatt. Fair enough. Okay.
Well, it didn't make sense for Goldberg to win it, but they did it. So
that is true.
You know, it won't make sense for Bray Wyatt to win it, given all of the bit in between. Yeah. But I can see them doing it.
Okay. Big Man Ridez, what's your predictions?
My prediction is Braun will go over. And I have a few reasons to that. This is one of the matches that are more interesting to me on the card, so I've actually thought about it. And the reason being is Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, whatever you want to call him, this new version of Wyatt hasn't flopped and hasn't lost stock in the sense of it's not believable anymore, but it's been handled. It's not been handled how we probably wanted it to be handled. I mean, the whole Goldberg loss and everything. It's
He made it back, even though he closed back with the Firefly Funhouse. But get going.
Yeah, I think that was the redeeming thing.
I think he clawed back the mystique with the Firefly Funhouse because he went down to the.
I agree. Yes, he saved it himself.
Yes,
it's like it's almost like the company tried to ruin it. He's the one saving it. Okay. But even from the get-go, remember he didn't win the title straight away. Like that whole thing with Seth in the Hell in a Cell. I mean, it was just it hasn't been great, right? But it's been cool. Now, the reason why it's still cool enough is where my point is that he can afford to have a loss, right? Braun Strowman, on the other hand, is another star who they've handled badly as well. And he losing hurts him more than a loss to Bray Wyatt, right? Because they were supposed to shoot the gun on him years ago. It didn't happen. They teased it. They actually planned to do it. Then they took it last minute. And then a lot of burials by Roman and Lesnar. If he now think about it, he wasn't even supposed to be in a title match, let alone I don't even think he had a Mania match initially. Like if he is essentially filling for Roman, wins the title from a Hall of Famer and then loses it straight away, come on. Are you gonna be behind Braun going forward?
Yeah, of course not.
He needs this win. Right?
Yeah.
He needs this win. This is why Bray can be the one who can lose. Bray can put up a hell of a fight and create a good story with their history. It can even carry on to another pay-per-view. And it will do wonders for Bray, win or lose. But if Braun loses, the Braun Strowman brand is dead. Braun needs this. To be honest, I want to see what I want to see is Braun go over in a believable manner. And to be honest, what I'd love to see is while he's doing that, you build Sheamus up, right? And you have a Braun Sheamus feud. Yeah? Because Sheamus is returned. I know it sounds random, but think about it. Sheamus is returned. He's on fire right now.
Yeah.
Let him go through JF. Let him build up his stock again and get back to main event Sheamus level.
Yeah.
In the bar or whatever, and this new Sheamus, have that as a viable contender for Braun Strowman's champion.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like Braun can carry the title for a while and really have a feud with someone and then lose it to someone credible. If he loses it to Bray, it will be great for Bray fans. But like I said, the Braun Strowman brand absolutely dies.
Yeah.
So
true.
I
hear that.
I totally agree with that. My prediction would definitely be Strowman. And I think that's why they are feeding the first form of Wyatt to him than the Fiend, because people really are quite protected of the Fiend. You'd be surprised if you look at the fan base of him. So I think that's why they don't mind the sweatshirt version of Bray losing to Strowman, because
the Fiend lost to Goldberg though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They fucked up majorly there. But because obviously he brought it back with the Firefly Funhouse, they see there's a lot of stock to him. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's
that's a very fair point. Because I was annoyed when you said that it's gonna be Firefly Funfly Bray. I was like, I want to see the Fiend, but then you're right.
Yeah,
I don't want to see the Fiend lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they do treat them as two different entities. So yeah, it makes sense for them to face Bray. That's fine. It should be a good match. If anything, it wouldn't surprise me if Braun completely squashes Bray. But the thing is, if he does that, I still wouldn't even mind that because it's not the Fiend. You see what I'm saying?
If they do a slow build, like for example, let's say Braun goes over in this match, and then the next pay-per-view he brings out the Fiend, and Strowman beats him there, that would be more believable, and that would credit Braun a lot more because it's a slow build. If he just beats the Fiend at Money in the Bank, then it's like it's Goldberg all over again.
Yeah,
like where do you go from there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like similar to what they do with Finn Balor, because sometimes most of his his more memorable feuds, he has his feuds in the first form, and then when he comes to the next one, he turns into Demon Finn Balor. So, and it works. So yeah, why not do it in the next? Do it that way. So yeah, I definitely go for Strowman for the win.
I love the story behind the match, like going back in time with the Wyatt family and stuff. It's been done very well. I just wish it was longer.
Yeah,
I wish the build was longer. Like I'm sad it's over now. Now we got the match. Like
Yeah,
you never know. It could drag on to the next one. It could drag on.
Bray is good. He's good with the mind games. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. And then that leaves pretty much the both Money in the Bank both Money in the Bank contract matches. So the men's one, like we've got through them earlier. So the men's one is Daniel Bryan versus Rey Mysterio versus Aleister Black versus King Corbin versus Otis versus AJ Styles. And then in the women's one is Asuka versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans versus Carmella. Okay, so before we dissect both matches, off the get-go, who are your predictions in both matches? Big man Rides, what's your prediction?
Boy, I might have to pass it to Rams and have a bit of a think. I'm not even.
So I get put on the spot straight away now. Oh damn!
It's just like it's all right. All right. You know, with the men's, I'm thinking when you were reading those names out and obviously looking at it before, it would do wonders if AJ won. Just in the sense of like he's one of the top heels on the brand, kind of redemption for him after being beat by the Undertaker. So I believe that, but I just feel myself going on a tangent and basically saying why it would be good for this person to win or why it would be good for that person to win. I can't sit and say I predict this person will win. It's really a tricky one, man. Could you say
I hear that.
again? Say them all again.
So the men's one is Daniel Bryan versus Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and AJ.
I have the I've
got like 3 stars who I think it could be. I think, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be between AJ, Bryan, and Corbin.
Okay.
AJ for kind of what I just said. Corbin because he's basically pretty much the top heel out of everybody. It just works with his thing. And Bryan because I kind of feel like he lost to Kofi and then just kind of fell off out of the title picture. And, you know, this could it would be believable if he won it. Aleister Black, although the fan in me is like, yeah, that would be cool. We know WWE. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mysterio, it's Mysterio. And who's the other person? Otis. It's not happening. So,
yeah. Okay, fair enough. All right, so it's out of the 3. What about you, Mr. Rhymes? What are your predictions or predictions?
For the men's one,
if I had to choose one out of those 3, I'll go with King Corbin.
Yeah, see, I'm not gonna lie, like that was gonna be my prediction. I was like, I honestly think they're gonna troll us and give it to King Corbin again. But my thing with that though is just that, because it's the whole thing of he's already won it, so it's almost like. But fair enough, at least it's a break. So, because the CM Punk thing, letting him win it 2 years in a row, that was like overkill. But with King Corbin, it's just like because he's such a douchebag, irritating, annoying character, it just kind of makes sense. But then it also doesn't make sense because didn't he just lose to some random at WrestleMania? Who was Elias? He lost to Elias at WrestleMania. So it was kind of like. And again, I haven't really been watching the build for the Money in the Bank matches, so I'm not sure how they built him going into this match. But just reading off the list of names of who's going to win, to me, he seems the most kind of viable.
Yeah, I agree. And to feed off your point, what you said about but he just lost at WrestleMania and hasn't been booked well. I think that's where Money in the Bank saves people because you can almost basically be a coward and be a jobber, and your Money in the Bank is kind of like your handicap to win the title, or at least be a main event. So. It works in the favor of people that you just described. So more power to Corbin for that, I think. So I feel you.
Yeah, 100%. My prediction for that is unfortunately King Corbin as well.
See, we all said the same thing.
We won him over.
We're not won over with him or anything like that. It's just you look at the
trolling aspect and the way if you watch how he's been booked on SmackDown, like he killed Elias again,
killed him,
and he's been winning his
matches.
Then
the only thing I'm scared of is that. He was on top of, he was basically the top guy on the closeout to SmackDown. So usually when you're the top guy on the closeout, you don't then win the match.
Yeah. That's your 5 minutes of fame right there. Then you're sorry. Yeah, it's true.
So I don't know.
I mean, obviously, my pick if it was up to me, then I wouldn't even say Aleister Black because he's meant to be the next Undertaker, and you just can't imagine him fucking just rising up with the briefcase, chasing down the ramp, and cashing in. I just can't imagine that. So,
but if he won it, he'd be the one that like he'd announce that he's gonna cash it in at this particular day, so then you just know.
I just
Okay,
can't
on this day
chasing
he's having a title match.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, unfortunately, I think with him, I think they're gonna go like you gotta grind it out to get your chance, not through Money in the Bank.
Which they should.
Yeah, sure.
I don't mind because he's an awesome character, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Otis, like you said, but I don't know if you guys been noticing, but they're teasing about people getting thrown off the top of the roof. It wouldn't surprise me if he's the one that gets thrown over.
Getting thrown off the roof to the floor, so essentially they're teasing
basically murder.
a death.
Like he falls from the roof all the way down to his death. That's because
very WCW-esque. Like they did that to the Big Show, and he just came back the next night.
Yeah,
like it's just.
Oh my god.
Yo, what happened to you last week? What happened to me last week? Okay, all right, never mind. Next match.
I mean, so my commentary earlier was gonna say. So we mentioned us talking about McIntyre and stuff like that, and how he had a good match with Murphy this week or whatever. I honestly feel like they should have had Murphy in this Money in the Bank ladder match.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of hoping that he was going to end up in Money in the Bank or something or whatnot. Because I've been a Murphy fan since like
he would have been
a
fine replacement for Apollo Crews. He would have been a fine replacement for Apollo Crews.
You're right. So, but then I guess Star Power and AJ Styles are just like, oh boom, he's back and stuff. But then it's like I feel like maybe the because I'm not really a gimmicky person unless the gimmick is outrageous or it's a gimmick that I like. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sold on Otis's gimmick. I mean, the WrestleMania story was the WrestleMania package and everything for him to get the win and get the girl. Yeah, that made sense, but I just don't care for Otis as a character. So that's why I would rather see Murphy in there over him, because Murphy's someone that I can see going far. But that's just me. That was just my point. And yeah, but then either way, yeah, I'd say King Corbin for this run. That's my prediction.
I think it wouldn't surprise me. Daniel Bryan, nah. Rey Mysterio, he'll do some crazy, innovative moves around the HQ. But no, Aleister Black, no. Otis, don't give a fuck. Sorry for my language. AJ Styles, very random. Like, he wasn't even planned to even come back so early. They did it just for the star power reasons. That as if which pretty much gets again craps on everyone that's in the match. He's saying that they can't carry the match. I mean, why put AJ Styles in this? It doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, that's there. But yeah, 110% for trolling purposes. King Corbin for that.
For trolling purposes. That's all he's good for, basically.
That's all he's good
trolling
for.
The crowd.
All right, let's get it, man.
Bonus question: if it is Corbin, does he cash in successfully and become the WWE Universal Champion?
Yeah, he'll cash in on whatever's left of Braun Strowman after he has his match with the Fiend.
You think he'll cash in on the night?
No.
I think
the Fiend.
Oh, man.
No, so the Fiend, match. Not Bray Wyatt.
Not Bray Wyatt, the Fiend.
So when it gets round to Braun Strowman and the Fiend, huh?
Yeah, you never know. It could be on like SmackDown. The Fiend comes and chokes out Strowman, and then King Corbin comes in.
Boom, cash in, and then now the Braun Strowman and the Fiend feud, because if you're saying that it is Wyatt family related and stuff like that, then that's a feud that doesn't even need the title. So it could be a thing where if there's a random attack on a SmackDown or whatever, and then King Corbin cashes in. Now King Corbin goes up and does whatever he's doing with the title. Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman continue. That's viable and that's sellable and that's believable.
Yeah,
true. I see Corbin holding it for a long time, just carrying on the gimmick the same way he did with King of the Ring. So by the time he does cash in, the championship could be on a completely different person. I don't even see it. Yeah, I hope.
But then again, it's also a troll to have him cash in straight away. Because it's like, if you feel like, okay, then so him and his gimmick, he's almost like, you're gonna give him the gimmick of being like, so not only is he King Corbin, now he's King Corbin like Mr. Money in the Bank, and then also he successfully cashed in, so now he's King Corbin, Money in the Bank, and champion. Like you're giving 3 things now, and it's like,
yeah, exactly, yeah. And plus,
like, even thinking of the top of my head, I know I'm already irritated, but But that's the thing.
And he did the waiting game already. Didn't work out for him. Screw it. Let's go quicker this time and then try and win it this way. So, yeah, but I think this time it will be a successful 2 straight losses. I mean, nah, I don't think it can do. See, he messed up his chance before anyway because that wasn't the plan. He wasn't meant to lose. He talked crap on Twitter and I got him in trouble. So
he was in heat, so they're like, okay, you're going to lose your Money in the Bank this week as punishment.
Yeah,
so,
that wasn't the original plan. So
what did he say on Twitter again?
He said something to a fan, didn't he? Like a fan
it was a military guy. It was a military guy. I think he was saying something, and then he just cussed out this guy that was in the military for all these years. There was an online backlash, and then WWE got word of it, and it
was like, we can't have you doing that. So next week, this week on SmackDown, John Cena versus Jinder Mahal, and then John Cena interrupted and Jinder Mahal rolled up King Corbin unsuccessful cash in. It was the night before SummerSlam.
The best part of that match was when John Cena was just he was out there outside smiling and there was a girl behind him giving him the finger. On live TV. If you watch it back, you see him laughing, he's holding his jaw and you see this girl just absolutely flipping him off. He just pretends that she's not there, but you see it blatantly on live TV that she's flipping him off. It's so hilarious. But yeah. And then, of course, the next match is obviously the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And that is including Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella. This one's pretty much an easy ride-up. But, yeah, let me just go your predictions anyway. Big man rides.
For me, it's going to be between Shayna and Nia, I think. Carmella, okay, Dana Brooke isn't winning. Although Carmella is formidable, the word? She's won before. She's credible. Carmella in 2020, I don't think is. So just the way they've booked her. So nothing. Carmella, Dana, we can throw away. Asuka, I know that the fan in us would love her to win, and there might be a chance because I think they've kind of split up the team of her and Kairi Sane, so I think they're just individuals again. So it could potentially happen.
Mm-hmm.
Could potentially happen, but I don't think it will. Who else is in that match that I haven't said yet?
Lacey Evans.
Yeah, no chance.
Okay, so Lacey Evans is the wild card for me. I know what you guys think of her.
I don't necessarily dislike her. I just don't think that she's. I don't dislike her. My thing is just that she's not. How can I put it?
She's not reliable.
I just think that she's sloppy. The unfortunate thing is that when Alexa Bliss got called up prematurely, Alexa Bliss's character made up for her in-ring ability. Lacey Evans, her heel character still didn't really make up for that. And then as a wrestler in heel, she was still quite face in the sense that a lot of her moves are very flashy. A lot of her moves are very get the crowd invested, and then it's just it was kind of like a weird thing to watch her in the ring, but now you've made her face, and then she just comes up as very generic, like Alexa Bliss. So it's I'm not really kind of sure, but then I don't kind of see her as champion. This is I read the spoilers that she was meant to win at WrestleMania, and I was gutted for that, oh my god, kind of thing. I don't know. I just think that give it maybe another year or so, let her kind of really I guess excel, and then we'll talk. But for right now, I'm not on Lacey Evans.
So I hear that. I've always kind of said that in terms of just the typical look, especially what McMahon looks for and stuff.
Blonde.
Yeah, blonde. She's a former Marine or something like that. She's and now, especially now where they've just had her be changed from a heel, which she was great at. I thought she was a good heel, but in terms of what sticks, she's a good face. She's overcome bullying, and then if you look at her personal stories and struggles that she'd had in real life, that kind of she can be the poster boy for TV women's division. Not saying that she's the best wrestler, but in terms of character and appealing to little girls and stuff, they could run with her. That's money. Do you know what I mean? So she could potentially, but I think as strong as that is, what's stronger is the push, the unexplainable push that they're trying to put behind Shayna, and I don't think they've completely lost faith in Nia either. So I think it's down to two of them. If I had to choose one, I think they're going to go for Shayna. I don't personally want to see that. I have no interest in Shayna at all. But I know for the NXT. Listen. I know the NXT diehards see her differently. That's fine. But if I'm going by how they've presented her on Raw,
no, I get that.
It's not in depth.
I totally get that.
No, yeah, I completely agree with the same way because I think even when you looked at past shows and our past conversations and stuff like that, I've been the one that I've been saying Shayna Baszler does not have bad matches. She may not necessarily be like the flashiest or the kind of like, if you think of the name Shayna Baszler, you're like, oh, like she's a really great wrestler. She's this, she's that. Like I've never once kind of sat there and been like, oh, Shayna Baszler is like top tier. In the same breath, she's not bad, and I think how she was presented and how she performed and everything on NXT genuinely worked for her to get her to that point. You put her on the main roster, and it just fell very, very flat, and it just did not go over well. It wasn't received well, and then the worst thing is that you put her in the marquee women's match at WrestleMania, and that match just did not deliver, like, in any way, shape, or form. So it's just like,
freaking lost.
yeah, and it was just like, and then after WrestleMania, you have her kind of bulldoze through the division where it's meant to be like, I guess she's angry or something like that, and then because didn't she like break Sarah Logan's arm or something like that, and then did she throw someone into stairs or something on their arm? Was that Kai was saying something like that?
No, it was some random jobber.
Done it to everyone since.
Yeah.
So she's like been like injuring people every week in and week out. So they're building her as this monster again. She's in Money in the Bank, but then it's just like, if you give her Money in the Bank, then am I to believe that, you know, if she cashes in on Becky Lynch, that the only way that she can beat Becky Lynch was to cash in?
Yeah.
So then that doesn't then make her the monster that you want us to believe that she is.
Exactly.
You know?
It's kind of like what one of you said about Alice. Sorry to cut you. It's kind of like what you said about Aleister Black, how you're more credible if you work for it.
Yeah.
You take that away when you... But sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and then it's like, if you look at all the other women in the match, it's just like, we laugh and joke and we're like, oh, Dana Brooke's not going to win. But I could see them potentially making her to be like the Zack Ryder that we don't know we need kind of thing of the women's division. Like she has potential. She has potential with that. I can see you just not sold on that.
Over the years, though.
Don't get it twisted. She has potential with that because Dana Brooke is not as bad. She's not as bad in the ring as she was when they called her up to be with Charlotte. In those days, Dana Brooke was sloppy in the ring, like she was. Like nowadays, when you watch her main event matches, and any time that she does perform,
what matches?
So when you watch like her matches and stuff like that, she's genuinely gotten better. And I will say that her performance in the Money in the Bank last year was a show stealing performance when she hung from the thing for like a few seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not saying that she's all it is that she's just kind of built as the jobber. But then I'm saying that's how Zack Ryder was built. So when he won at WrestleMania, it was like a big thing, you know, like a big deal. Same when him and Kurt Hawkins won. It's like it's a big feel. I don't see them doing that with her. Don't get me wrong, but she's a wild card in that respect. I do think that if they're going to pull the trigger on her, it probably will be some big event like this or something else. I'm not sure. However, so if I have to really like choose a prediction, unfortunately I'm going to say I think that they're going to do Shayna Baszler. Yeah. But then I think, like we were saying, that if Bayley's going to lose it, it will be to a cash in. So I think Shayna Baszler will cash in on Bayley. I don't think she'll cash in on Becky Lynch.
Are we in agreement that, because that's the other question, if you're a Raw superstar, can you cash in on the SmackDown superstar and vice versa, or is it you're on Raw, you cash in on a Raw superstar, SmackDown cash in on SmackDown?
They haven't really made it clear, but I got a feeling it wouldn't surprise me because they're really sticking to making them be separate. So it wouldn't surprise me that if you win on Raw, you're gonna go for the Raw title. It wouldn't.
I mean that wouldn't surprise me also, but right now, given the time, everyone is appearing everywhere, so you know. Which right now I'm just gonna assume that I'm just gonna. Yeah, but I think that also if it's gonna be a thing where, like, you know, if it's gonna be a thing where Baszler wins the Money in the Bank, I do think a cash, unless she announces her cash in and whatnot, I do think that her cash in on Becky Lynch and whatnot, it just doesn't do anything for either one of them. I mean, it does with Becky Lynch because it was like, okay, the only way that she can be beat was to be cashed in on because she's been coming for over a year. But then for Baszler or someone like Baszler cashing in on Becky Lynch and winning, it doesn't elevate Baszler. Because Baszler will be put in that awkward box that Paige was put in when she beat AJ Lee. Because for that awkward few months that she was champion, when AJ Lee took a break, Paige was like floundering, like an
No one
awkward
really
run.
remembers the feuds after. They always replay or retell when she won the title from AJ. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so like when Paige won the title from AJ, and then it's almost like they skipped that 3 or 4 month period between that, and then straight away it's back to AJ versus Paige at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Even though Paige had lost to AJ before that, so it's like I said, there's that awkward 4 month period where you've got to build Paige up for the main roster to like her, because she was just forced onto the main roster of NXT, which is a completely different kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Although with Shayna Baszler, we've already been introduced to her, but we're not sold.
Mm-hmm.
So to still kind of use her for Money in the Bank and then to give her the title, you still got to build her and get us to kind of care for her on the main roster. You get what I mean?
I think that's what they will do if she wins. So I completely get what you're saying, but in saying that, I think the win itself will be an escape for Becky to lose the championship, right? That saves Becky. She wins, and then she becomes this dominant champion. So the win itself, you're right, doesn't really do much for her. But then in being a champion, defeating a whole bunch of women and breaking arms or whatever will make her a credible champion during her run. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like building the character as a champion, not before she wins the championship. So maybe. But either way, it's...
Can we collectively all say that we think it's going to be Baszler winning Money in the Bank? Is that what we're all thinking right now? Is that our predictions?
Yeah, I would say, for me, that would be Shayna Baszler.
So we're all predicting Shayna Baszler. So we're all in unison for that one and the men's Money in the Bank. Look at that. At first.
Not bad. Yeah. So
we're all in unison for our Money in the Bank predictions.
Yeah. It's pretty much for most part. When you look at it, most of the matches are pretty much written for itself. The only one that might have a twist, really, to be honest, it's actually 2 matches. It's probably R-Truth versus our MVP, or the tag team match. Really, when you look at the match card, everything else is everything's
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of almost obvious.
Yeah,
that'd be an award.
Yeah.
Drew's winning, Jeff Hardy's winning.
Yeah.
Braun might not be super obvious, but I think it is to me. Like I think Braun's winning.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the only one that you two said Braun was gonna sing. I said that I think they're gonna swerve it, and I think that Bray Wyatt will win.
Yeah, but do you see Fire Funfly Bray winning the title?
No.
But that's just it. That's why it's gonna be the swerve, because it's like WWE lives for a swerve. So
unless this match is already pre-taped, and then the Fiend intervenes somehow, and then it goes back to Bray, and then he wins. But there's no way that sweatsuit Bray is gonna win clean. There's no way. Not against Braun. No, there's absolutely no way. But the thing is, that's gonna be a repeat of what Braun just did when he won the Intercontinental Championship. He just won it. He won it for about 4 weeks, and then he loses it to Sami. This is the next pay-per-view. Wait, this is the next pay-per-view after Mania, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So you're just gonna keep it on him for a month, and then do the same thing again? Nah, I don't think so. I know it's WWE. Anything is up in the air, but yeah, I think they just did this one just to shut him up for now, and then wait till he faces the Fiend.
You also gotta keep in mind. Fair enough. I know they changed things completely and drastically on the fly, which they're, to their credit, good at. If something happens, someone gets injured, they can completely change the dynamic. But ultimately, we have to somewhat believe that maybe this is kind of based on what they had planned for Roman. So would Roman have lost to Bray? Like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Braun is kind of playing Roman right now. So what would they have done? You got to remember that as well.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Roman wouldn't have lost it in a couple weeks.
But then also, you got to remember the way that Roman is used, the way that Braun Strowman is used. Like, you know that when Roman is doing anything, Roman is like built top tier. Braun Strowman, even when he's put in that position, he is
we'll
not.
We'll talk about Roman Reigns shortly. I think you may know what we're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Money in the Bank. Yeah, overall, it should be a decent pay-per-view. I mean, They've been creative with Mania. I think they're going to be creative with this one as well. Someone's going to get thrown off the roof. I know for a fact.
Oh my god! You just really want that, innit? You want to see someone get thrown off the roof.
Dude, if you look, have you not seen the segments that they've been saying? It was just like one wrong. Wait, what? Rey Mysterio did one, and he said, one wrong move, and it's all over. What was it? One wrong move. Yeah, it's all over. Someone said, I think it was Otis saying that, yeah, like this could be, it could just take one wrong move and then someone gets thrown off. Everyone's been saying it. It's been teased. WWE, they're really so blatant and stuff. Yeah, they are so blatant. Someone's gonna get thrown off, and it's just And then I think was it last week? Becky Lynch had an interview. I can't remember with who, and she said that Vince McMahon is such a crazy dude, and he demonstrated everyone how to sell a fall off a ladder, and imagine if you fell off the roof and all this kind of stuff. And she was just completely bigging them up. So yeah, someone's getting thrown off, man. Someone has to get thrown off. And then you see them show up on Raw next night or SmackDown. It's just freaking ridiculous. But yeah, we digress. Should be an interesting pay-per-view. And yeah, definitely looking forward to it to some extent. Are you guys watching it live, or are you gonna be watching it the next day?
I'll watch it live.
Watching it live?
Time to watch it live.
Okay, cool. Well,
I watch most of the pay-per-views live and stuff. The only time I watch it the day after is if it's genuinely one that I forgot was even on.
Fair enough.
Or like ones where genuinely, like, if I have work and I start work at like 4 a.m, then if I'm not gonna stay up to watch it, I will be asleep.
Fair enough.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it live. Why not?
Yes, join the fray.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, going to talk about briefly about Roman Reigns. I'm sure you may have not heard on Twitter or whatnot, or the dirt sheets, about how they're pretty much giving him the Thanos treatment on TV, where they're just pretty much erasing him from existence in certain footage, just because mainly of the way he just rather chose his family and his health over the company. What are your thoughts on that mindset? Have you seen the doctored footage of on Money in the Bank, or
no? Like, see, my thing.
A lot to say about it, man.
I didn't even realize it until like, so you posted it in our group, and you were like, you posted that you thought it was a bit weird and stuff. But I remember watching Raw and seeing Seth's cash in and stuff, and I saw that it was like edited, but I guess maybe because I didn't really care when I was watching Raw anyway. But then it didn't really kind of strike anything to me or anything like that until I went on Twitter around that same time, and someone was like, "Oh, it's interesting that they removed Reigns from the footage." So I was like, okay, but then part of me was like, well, he wasn't really relevant to the footage. Fair enough, he was in the match. No, irrelevant to the footage in the sense of, so it's like, it's Seth Rollins cash in. It wasn't like a Roman Reigns moment. It was a Seth Rollins moment. That's the focus of the video. Did that make sense? But then, because the person was making it seem like, well, why would they take Roman Reigns out of it? But then I was like, okay, that's a conversation people are having. Maybe that's going to turn into a thing. We'll see. And then literally the next day, you're like, oh, they're removing Roman Reigns from footage and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Now that it's become like a big thing and whatnot, it comes off as really
petty.
Yeah, like, not even petty, but just like it's almost like, okay, I understand it if like Roman Reigns did a Matt Hardy or something, or Roman Reigns like, just completely blew off the company, but he's like working elsewhere or doing things elsewhere and stuff. But no, he took the time to not work because he's one of the people that's at risk, right? Yeah. Because he's like a leukemia survivor and stuff like that. So he's one of the ones that, his immune system is, could greatly be affected by something like this. So there is no reason for him to be traveling, no reason for him to be out, like be home, be safe. Mm-hmm. And because he chose that, you're now going to remove him and such a prominent star as well from everything that's kind of happened. It's just like, it's astounding, really. Like, I personally don't get it, but
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Ridez? What are your thoughts on it?
So initially, when you look at that footage that is doctored, the thing about it, right, it's almost kind of like what Rhymes is saying. It is, for me, I think people were looking too deep into it. I think it was just literally because that was I believe that was a promo to kind of compare Seth to Drew and build up their feud, right? So it wasn't really about that match per se. It was just a moment that Seth had done to build up his career, right? So for me, it was just like, because they're showing other clips as well, they're just trying to cram in as much as possible. They don't need to show the 1, 2, 3. It was just like he showed up at WrestleMania holding the title. Like, it's just bullet points, right? So I didn't even look at it like, oh, they purposely took Roman Reigns out. I just looked at it as bullet points. But then people started talking about it, and it got deep. And then I read an insider is actually, I don't know if it's official, my BS, but the response to it is that because obviously the consensus is that because Roman chose his health, basically the WWE are punishing him and removing him and basically giving him that treatment. An insider has allegedly said that it's not a punishment. It's just purely because Roman is out indefinitely. They don't want people asking or expecting Roman or whatever because they know they can't do it. So it's not actually a negative from a business standpoint. It's just that he's essentially not on the active roster right now for the foreseeable future. He doesn't need to be shown. And I kind of get that, but I don't think the average fan will. I think the average fan is going to read into it with a conspiracy theory and think, oh no, And that might be a complete cover-up that they just tell the media. Maybe in reality, Vince is vexed and saying, screw Roman Reigns, I don't want to see his face. I wouldn't put that past him either. I think the real test, and I tried to see this myself, forget about clips of Seth Rollins and all that. What you need to really see is, you know, the intro to every WWE program.
Yes.
So not the Raw intro, the SmackDown intro, the intro before that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If Roman Reigns was in that before and isn't in that now, then you can start talking.
Yeah, right. Because I know that I read that the reason that SmackDown isn't showing their opening is because Roman Reigns starts it, Roman Reigns finishes it. So it's like the SmackDown have
they show Raw's intro. I thought they stopped showing either intro.
No, they still show it now and again. They still show Raw's one. And they still.
But SmackDown's one since this whole thing, SmackDown hasn't had an introduction because Roman Reigns. I think he's the first face on there, and then he's the last face.
He
does the super punch on the floor, and it blows up into SmackDown.
Yeah.
So
for the past 2 weeks, they haven't shown it.
Even before Roman disappeared, they hadn't shown the SmackDown intro for a minute. I hadn't seen it for a while.
Well, I have because I watched it, and they still show it.
They were still showing it because that was the first thing that people. That's the first thing that I saw was pointed out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, SmackDown hasn't shown their intro because Roman Reigns is on it." So I was like, "Oh." Because again, like we're saying, initially I didn't see this as a big thing. I thought this was just Seth Rollins' moment. Like, let him bask in his moment. It's not about Roman Reigns. But then people were like, oh, but he's doctored out because blah blah. And we just see more things that people are pointing out. They pointed out the SmackDown introduction. So I was like,
I'll let you know because I haven't seen this week's SmackDown. So and I watched it straight from
this week's didn't have an intro. I think it went straight to the ring.
Oh, you see what I mean?
Check the intro, man, that I didn't at the beginning because I tried to look at it like I literally searched 2020 and I saw a fan made one of them recording their TV because fans are just crazy and do stuff for no reason. And it was like March 2020. I didn't see Reigns in there. But because it was on someone's TV, it might not have been clear. Yeah. But like I said, if you can see one where just a month ago Roman was there and Roman's not there now, then you can look deeper into it. Other than that,
I'm watching that Dead Now Forever footage right now. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to get copyrighted.
Yeah. The company have been very supportive and behind Reigns through this whole journey of his health. They're not going to then be petty that he has to go and look up.
Yeah, I just saw him do the Superman punch in that Dead Now Forever thing. But you're right. On SmackDown, it goes straight to Bay Mandy and Otis.
Yeah, right. SmackDown didn't show the actual intro.
No.
Oh, so he's in the intro though, the WWE intro.
Yeah, the Dead Now Forever bit. Yeah, you see him do a Superman punch.
If they wanted to take him out, they would have taken him out easy. They've taken superstars out of that before.
Oh yeah.
They
took out Jericho in quick time.
Took out Jericho. They've taken out Punk. Yeah. They've taken out another guy that I won't mention. They've done it, So
another guy you wouldn't mention. Who won't you mention?
Again?
No. I want to hear this mention.
Which mention? I'm confused.
He said he's taking out this other guy that he won't mention. I want to hear this mention.
Oh!
I think you gotta draw attention to it.
No. I'm gonna be that person. Go on. I want to hear this.
Moving on.
Chris Benoit.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna get
Oh my
demonetized now.
God.
Thank you. I'm gonna get demonetized. All right, cool. Oh shit. But fair enough. Yeah, they don't fucking they don't hold back. But yeah, it's just maybe we are reading too much into it. And it's probably just one of those things. And maybe this whole it's just weird how they're not even saying his name on TV. It's just probably they're banned from saying his name. So it's
Yeah, they're not meant to mention him either, which
Yeah.
is like, I mean, not to say that every storyline has to mention Roman Reigns, but it's like the fact that it's been put in the position where it's like, you know, just don't mention him.
Yeah, it's
like
really weird.
But you also gotta remember it could be a plan because think about it. Compare the idea of his name still being thrown around and then he eventually returns to nobody saying anything about him, like he almost doesn't exist, and then his return. His return will be bigger with the latter, right? Because like you almost forget about him. You know?
Like if anything, because obviously he's out for indefinitely, I would hope that he comes back to a crowd, and the best crowd will be probably the Rumble. I would like to see him at the Rumble. That would be the next time I'd like to see him. If we're able to have crowds by then, which by looks of things, hopefully, God willing, that there might be some progress towards that by then. Then yeah, I would love to wait until he probably would get. I wouldn't say he would get an Edge response because no one could beat that. But he will get a very very big pop. So yeah, I would say wait until then. Because everyone will forget. And if they carry on with this, with quote unquote listing, then yeah, why not? Yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with it.